I have been given exclusive access to take a look at FM26 on the alpha build, and I'm going to determine or not whether it is good, as well as my overall thoughts. Because I've already played through a season on yesterday's alpha access video and experienced a lot of the new features and changes within the game. And we're going to start off right here with the manager profiles, because I need to set one up for my dad for when he comes around later on and tells you what he thinks of the game as well. Now, of course, this looks very different to FM24, and this is, reminder, the alpha version. So some things might change. We might get even better looking faces than what we do right now. Let's hope. But we're going to create a manager profile for my dad that looks close enough. We'll start off with that. My dad's not a slender man, but he's definitely not larger than that. Let's keep the same skin tone. Height-wise, I mean, this is always fun, isn't it? What's the lowest we can go to? 4'1"? I mean, it's still slightly too tall for dad, but we'll go for it anyway. There's a couple of haircuts that dad does qualify. I mean, every now and then he comes in with a nice little skin fade, doesn't he? We could do that, or we could just go his bog standard, what this kind of, I mean, not exactly accurate, but there's nothing else really that comes anywhere close. It's something I'm very jealous of with my dad. He has good hairline, so we'll have to go with that. But he doesn't have any facial hair. No facial hair. Well, I'll figure out the rest. But this is where I have my first gripe with the new manager creation, because although all of this is amazing, how can it be that I can give my dad a manager profile, lipstick, eyeliner, but if he wants to wear a hat, there's no possibility of doing so? Now, by all means, be inclusive. If the manager wants to wear lipstick, I'm sure that could be the case in real life, but I'm pretty sure the likes of Tony Pulis and Thomas Tuchel, they love wearing a nice little hat, as I do, and there's just no ability to do so on this game. And I'm still annoyed by it. Okay, I've selected dad a nice little polo shirt and jeans combination. I think that's kind of what he would wear anyway. It's what he wears quite a lot around here when you see him in the videos. But this is the interesting part of the managerial creation. You can then select what this type of manager is going to be. So we can see it's very much like it was last year in terms of the experiences, just named slightly something different. Generational superstar, you define as generation on the pitch, winning the highest individual honors, continental icon, and it goes down of obviously into none. You didn't even play above amateur level of football. So when you do those saves where it's no coaching badges and no obviously reputation, then that's what you'd be looking for reputation. So I'm going to give my dad probably the continental icon. He's an icon to all of you guys, isn't he? So we'll give him that going forward. So that's pending. But this is another step now where you can also select your history, I guess, of where you come from. Now, this does help in terms of what used to be the attributes. So you can see here, coaching, you've been on the grass working with players in the back team, and you can only select one of these, which is, oh no, you can select two. Did I click off that and it selected one? No, maybe not. So you can select two, and there's an option then to define it. So coaching, let's say dad was a manager, and then what does he like doing? He's very, very good at scouting, I guess, or punditry might be a good one, an interesting one. You know, observation and commentary as a member of the football media. So obviously, like the likes of Roy Keane would technically be a coach and a pundit, for example. Let's go with scouting. I think that's quite good as a scout there. So why can't, at the minute, we select two? I don't know. Or is it this that we're supposed to do for? All right, I think it's supposed to be this then. So how well are you known for it? So it's 1 out of 2 things selected. All right, I wish that was a little bit more obvious. I thought I had to select 2 of these, but there we go. So how well were you known for being a coaching boss? Well, being a manager. Recognize across the own content. That is the second one, as we can see there. Let's go across to the next bit. This is where you select the coaching badges. So that was a full addition to that, which gives you like a manager profile. So now is the coaching badges. We're just going to go Continental Pro license. We're going to do a lot of different videos where dad's going to be this. Whenever we do ones where it's unemployed and stuff, we'll start off with a new manager profile. So we'll select next on this. Now this is the coaching style. So I've had a little look from this from when I created mine. When you select different ones, and you can select up to 3, it changes the attributes here. Now we know some of that kind of doesn't really have much of an influence in the game anyway. I really wish a lot of this had much more of a bigger influence. For example, if I was a tactician, you can see here, all it does is tendencies. It gives you some tendencies, which is good. But then you kind of create your own tendencies, I guess. And then it obviously adapts these. So up here, if I selected that, it changes fitness down to good, but tactical up to very good. I wish it had other advantages as well, that if I selected tactician, that means my players would gain tactical familiarity a lot quicker. Maybe that's something that they can implement later on in the game. But if we're going for this, I mean, he's definitely an entertainer, isn't he, my father, which is quite funny, and he loves attacking. So we're going to go this, like, I mean, he won noughts and crosses, we'll give him that, but this is what his manager profile would be, and this is what he is now good at. Tendencies, tactical tinkerer. It's nailed on, isn't it? Plays entertaining football, I would say so, and plays attacking football, definitely. And then this is the personality side of it. So again, it's another little addition here. Is he inspirational? Is he disciplined, driven, convincing, resilient, accomplished? And you can select 2 out of this. Let's say he's inspirational and disciplined. Or is he more driven, convincing? You have a way with people that persuades? No, I think he's more disciplined. Let's go with that. And this is overall Dad's profile. Now, of course, the other addition to Football Manager this year was the Women's League. And what I love about it is that you can add the database of the Women's League should you wish to play it as well as the men's at the same time. So you could flip-flop between both the Women's Super League and the Barclays Premier League whenever you wish. You could pick up a job in one, go to the other, and then leave that and go back to the men's game. And the option is there to do it. And I love that. Now, with this video, my thinking is, because I've already played a full season, which you, of course, can see, which was yesterday's video as Arsenal, and I've had a lot of experience with the new features and the new engine in terms of the graphical side of things, we're determining then whether I think it's good off of an overall experience of the game so far. And we're looking at the portal right now, which is obviously the brand new UI in Football Manager. It's a lot cleaner than what I thought it would be from the earlier looks into it. I'm still unsure whether I'll be somebody who uses the tabs at the top or the bookmarks down the bottom right. I mentioned in yesterday's video I was using the bookmarks, but I did find myself eventually using these more often. And the tile stuff, some of it I think is fantastic, some of it I think needs a lot of work. And there's some pages that I absolutely despise on this, one being the competitions page. I think this is a massive downgrade compared to the competitions page on last year. It doesn't breathe any excitement to me. And I mean, I could show you from the game, the video yesterday, but it would spoil some things that happen. But where you finish in that competition doesn't exactly pop and stand out at all. Now, with that being said, a point was made about the bookmark situation in one of the reveals that they had, and I do think this is going to be crucial for us learning the new UI. It's just going to take some getting used to on what you want on there in the order, etc., and learning the icons. You can see here selected, I've got the option to do 12, and I can pick those 12 there. There's other things in here, but I've gone through and determined what I think is best suited for me, and the other stuff I can find elsewhere. The new search tab was obviously mentioned too, that you can do that, which will take you directly from, I mean, let's give it a try. Staff exactly down here. So there we go. So if I just type in staff, which you couldn't do on last year's game, you can now go into the staff, and you can go into staff responsibilities directly from this. And that's obviously something that I would use quite often. It does take a couple of clicks. I wish there wasn't as many clicks, but it's still a good thing to implement if you're really struggling to begin with finding things in the portal. Use the search tab. There's also FMpedia in there, which can also help you as well find stuff. Now, as I mentioned, there's some pages that I dislike. I dislike this one. I wish it was the same as what it was previously, because delegation is up there. And my dad, I know, has already struggled. He rung me and mentioned struggling to find the stuff that we usually delegate to our staff. and finding out how to do it. For example, transfers and contracts is now under one thing, and contract discussions is down the bottom. So for example, when we've got youth intake players coming in, I always say to Dad, delegate that responsibility. He couldn't find that. So it's going to take some getting used to, but eventually we might think that this is better. Again, because it's all new doesn't mean that it's better or worse until we've really been playing it for a long period of time. Another big side of the game is the tactics system, and of course the new in and out of possession tactics. I love the fact that there were so many rumors about it and it's actually come true. Now this is an idea that I think is absolutely genius, because the player roles, for example, was the only way that you could really change what your player would do in and out of possession. And I do think in a couple of years' time, I think this is going to be refined to be absolutely spot on. It is still really good now. So if we're looking, obviously, that what we're doing in possession, you then click to go out of possession. So it gives you suggested, but I wish there was more options. But you can literally select anything. So let's go with this. So if we're in, theoretically, that guy would drop back, that guy would be there. Well, let's see. Does it make sense? So the combined does make it look really silly, but if you go both, you can understand a little bit more. And once you put the players in, then you can understand what player is going where. So for example, Mallard, who's there up front, out of possession, is actually the winger. Park, who's the winger there, goes centre mid. Elatoon stays where she is. Janssen, who in possession is a defensive midfielder, drops back into the centre back role, and her centre mid partnership, Miyazawa, then goes into the defensive midfielder role. It's clever, and it does, I believe, put it so if you select somebody to go, there we go. So it gives you a little thing that says there's too much distance between the in and out of possession for that player. So you might want to consider it, because the balance of the side is going to be really difficult. Now, I really want to try some things where I select everybody and put them on the left, and then out of possession, put them on the right. It's something that I'm going to try. We might have to see how that one does. However, one of the things that I dislike about this is the change to the team instructions. I think it's just going to take some getting used to. We're so used to the previous way of having the pitch there and then deciding if I want to play a high line, I literally just move it and it's very visual. This is more like icon based, and I think I'm going to struggle with that, because to me, when I click on this, it's too much for my mind to comprehend. But also, if you want it to be like going through separately, this bit on the side, these tabs, again, I know Dad is going to struggle with this. And he's going to have to use all instructions, and then he's got the same little brain fog that I get of, whoa, this is too much to look at and get used to. But again, once we get used to it, I might change my mind. It's just my initial reactions is I dislike the way that this is set up. However, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. So the in and out of possession on this page here just shows you where theoretically an average position would be for that player when the ball is in this area. So when the ball's in this area, you can see my 4-3-3 is just like that, but slightly farther up on the left, because that's where the ball is. Centrally there, right-hand side there, and obviously it's also down to the instructions you give them. Elatoon has got more of an attacking midfield role than Miyazawa, and that's why she's further up the pitch. And again, as you go through each different position, and out of possession too. So when we are out of possession, you can see we're set up in what I've asked them to do there, that 5-1-2-2 formation, with Mallard dropping into that striker role. And you can see wherever you put them on the pitch, this is fantastic. This is absolutely props to whoever come up with this. I think it's a brilliant addition to the game. Now, I can't give my opinion too much on buying and selling players just yet. I only really made 2 transfers on the ins when I played yesterday for that video. But outside of that, looking at it, it's kind of very easy to pick up in a way. My only concern was the new things that they added, which was, you can see here, transfer room in and out, and recruitment. If you click on this little tab here, is also down here. I missed that yesterday, I'll be honest, because there's so much words. I think that's the reason why. But what you can do here is you can sort of set requirements of what you're looking for, and a team can approach you with that. And transfer room, apparently, is a real thing that real football clubs use in the real world of football transfers. So that's quite cool that we've got that in the game. And transferring out, this will be what players are looking for. So you can see here, this is what an opportunity, they call it, to sell a player to one of these clubs. So you could go through, for example, here, Arsenal, they're looking for a defensive midfielder. They've already shown interest in Miyazawa, and she matches the requirements. So we could obviously offer out Miyazawa to Arsenal, and that's obviously another way of selling a player. Also, a nice little addition to this is the instant result button, which is obviously very welcome for me and Dad, who do like to instant result and holiday. Unfortunately, it is still called holiday. I'm still working on them changing it to simulating one day. Maybe I'll win. Maybe I'll never win that battle, though. Which leads us on to the match day experience. And this is, I think, Football Manager's crowning moment of FM26, because a lot of this, once it's just got those little few things ironed out, is such a big difference. And I think it looks beautiful. Obviously, we're in the Women's Super League here, which is, again, a fantastic addition. The fact that we now have a whole new database to go and explore world-class players, wonder kids, hidden gems, etc. Right now, we are looking at, obviously, the alpha build of this, and faces might not be as good as what they could potentially be in the future, but the basis for it is there. And the fact that this is different to the men's game, so you can visibly see the way that the women run around the pitch is different to the men's game, is a huge plus from me, because else, if it's exactly the same, what's the point? You could have just done a database difference, and that's literally it. But the fact that it has some visible differences, I think is a huge positive to the game. And overall, the match experience itself, I think, looks beautiful. If you look at the video that I created yesterday with Arsenal, the amount of goals that we were scoring, which were really attractive goals, was fantastic. I will say a lot of them were coming from the wings. I've got a feeling that in FM26, having a fantastic world-class winger like I did with Bukayo Saka, or a fantastic attacking left-back like I did with Miles Lewis-Skelly, who I instructed to go further forward, might be really good. Because they did so well for me, and Saka scored so many goals, got so many assists. It was ridiculous. But overall, a huge positive when it comes to the match day experience and how well the graphics look. Once those faces sort of get ironed out and we can sort of see, you know, it doesn't look as hideous as what some of the faces are right now, because again, this is the alpha. I think we have such a huge positive and such like an advancement in terms of the graphics. I cannot believe this is a Football Manager game. After years and years of playing Football Manager, to the point where at some points I was only playing it in 2D, then yeah, I mean, that's unlucky. What a shot that is. But I mean, we can switch it around to 2D. Still, it's still there for all of you guys who want to use 2D. And that instant result button is also available during the game, which is actually such a huge positive. Because imagine you're like 4-0 up and you're like, well, I've got to wait. And if you got a dynamic mode on and it take an instant result, bang, get out. It doesn't like start the game over. It continues with what the scoreline was from that point. Now, as you can see, 2D is still there for anybody who's a 2D warrior and wants to play 2D. The camera angles, I think, are really good. Broadcast is going to be probably the one that I'll use to begin with, but I'm intrigued by, I mean, aerial's quite a fun one to sort of set your tactic up, especially for that in and out of possession style of tactic. I think that's quite fun. So there's so many things that I think is really positive about this game, especially when you get to a match day experience. And I think we can just be happy that although we had to wait a long time for this game, the game's brilliant. The game is brilliant. I think overall, is Football Manager is FM26 good? It's really good. It's really good. The more I've played it, the more I've enjoyed it, the more I'm getting used to it. My enjoyment goes up. I'm a happy man right now. But what does Dad think? Now, Dad's actually joined me while I was messing around with some of the tactics, and I've got to show you this because I think it was just so funny. We're going to see how this plays out. But with the Manchester United women's team, who's not as good as the Arsenal women's team, they've won 2 out of 2. We've only won 1 out of 2. I decided to just mess around with a tactic. We're 2-0 up, and I'm playing this in possession, and I haven't really focused. I just quick picked it. I didn't even focus on any of the players, and out of possession, I'm doing that. So what's quite funny is when they lose the ball, they sprint back.
Yeah.
Now, I did do the team instructions to how I would want it to be, but it's quite funny how this is really working. And I scored from kickoff as well. So what we can do is just have a little brief look at what's going on while we're talking about how you are enjoying the game and what your thoughts are. Whilst we also look to see how dominant this man... I guarantee we concede straight away from this. Because you can see the players running back. I mean, unbelievable save.
You need a good goalkeeper for this one.
Yeah, but they're offside. And this is another thing that this tactic is doing. So, Dad, your thoughts on the actual graphics? We're looking at the new graphics right now. What do you think about it?
It's a lot clearer.
Yeah.
I do think it is better. It's what it is. I mean, you can see what the actual players are doing now, and some of the moves are on the ball. It's a lot clearer. I do think it's a lot better. It's a definite big tick in the box for me, I think.
Yeah. And obviously all of the matchday experience, that cutscene at the start, lovely little additions to the game.
Where you come out with the ball there, stood on the stand, and they take the ball and they do the shaking of the hands and all that. I think it's good.
Yeah.
The bit that I've seen with the Champions League, I'm really impressed with that.
Yes, I think that's
really good. I mean, anytime you get the Champions League music as well, it's going to make it feel better as well, isn't it?
So, and
I think that's what gives the game more experience. Oh, it's another goal!
Look how many players are in the box, by the way. This tactic is mental.
Yeah, so I just think, for people who maybe even playing this game for the very first time, not played Football Manager before, that sort of music with it makes you goosebumps on your arm.
Yeah.
You feel like you're part of it then.
Yeah, so you're very similar to what I've already said in the video. Now, Dad doesn't know what I've said in the video. You've just turned up today and I've just asked you the question. And it's very similar to me. The more I play this game, the better it feels.
Yeah.
Because we were both exactly the same when we first opened up the game. You messaged me and said, I don't know what's going on.
I struggle to find a lot of things, and I mean, like you were like talking me through some of the things. Look, go up to the top corner, look at this, look at that. What are you actually looking for? Well, think about that, and now look into there. Oh yeah, it's there type of thing. The transfer is always like whoa, right above my head with the transfers, because I just couldn't find the things that I was used to finding, like when you're looking for a player at certain positions, and they're so good at it.
To edit the search. Yeah. The edit search is different.
I found really hard to find and understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now I've got to it, and I've done it 4 or 5 times now. It's like, oh yeah, I know where I am now. So when I'm looking for a player now, I can find a player that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
In the sort of skill level that I need, really.
Yeah.
There's a few interesting things that's coming out. Whether I like the idea of the one where you can look on teams and see what players they got available at certain positions.
Yeah, the opportunities.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that, because that just narrows it down straight away. But I'm also looking forward to selling players.
Exactly. That could be very good. Yeah. If it works well, that sort of thing, it could be a great way of selling players. Because we've struggled in the past doing rebuilds.
Can't
get rid of them.
No.
So, yeah, I'm interested in exploring that a lot more often.
Yeah, definitely.
And seeing that. Tactics, then. Have you messed around with the tactics in and out of possession, and what's your thoughts on it?
I've the in possession, which I've just watched. I've just been going on your the video that you got going on in front of us now. That's fascinating me, because if you're out of possession, the in possession, I'm not too worried about, because I think you can have 2 or 3 tactics that you like that you go to every time, which I do.
Yeah.
But if you're ever not
and
working,
what were they?
Yeah. Mine, I haven't tried the 3 up front one.
Have you not?
No,
that shocks me.
I haven't tried the 3 up front one yet.
I thought it would be the first thing you do is go on and see how good Frank Kessie is.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he's transfer listed at the start of the game.
Oh, yeah. I haven't got there yet.
I was like, well, we know what Dad's doing every save.
Yeah.
And then the first thing you would do is stick in a 3 up front and see how it plays out.
Yeah. But my biggest problem so far, and I'll be honest with you, I've been sacked 3 times.
Yeah.
Just for the time that I've been playing it already, is my out of possession. I've tried a few different things and it doesn't seem to be working. That's why when I've just sat and you're watching your screen and seeing how many players that you've got, you're all back and you're all up front, I'm thinking, now I'm going to try that now.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to experiment with.
I've tried.
I think you need a good keeper, because Tullis Joyce here has made some unbelievable saves.
I've tried the one that's kept me in the game so far. I've managed to do 3 seasons without getting sacked. And the one tactic that's managed me to keep me into that is the 4-4-2. Out of defense.
Out of possession. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that's kept me going at the moment.
Yeah. Well, funny enough,
I've been
that is
fiddling
the
around with
same tactic that I used in the video from yesterday.
Was it?
Out of possession, 4-4-2
Yeah.
with 2 defensive midfielders. I found that worked very well, and I found that I didn't mess around too much with the player roles.
Yeah.
I let it just be what the generic one when I put it in that position was, and I just altered a couple of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've done.
Yeah.
Really, I just put them there, see what came out of it, and then just hold them a little bit, especially with the ones with the 2 strikers.
Yes.
Getting them to come back and help a little bit more, and,
Yeah.
and doing with their, because it's new player
Mechanics,
roles.
player roles,
So
yeah.
you're looking at something now and trying to figure out what they actually mean by that, and see what
And
it
trying
does.
to relate to what you're used to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because that is totally different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what I found most difficult at the moment. The going forward, I think, is just almost the same. It's not a lot of change, but because you know what you want to do and you're attacking all that, I think you just put your tactic in and find what best suits that tactic.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
But the outer sort of one is and if you tweak with it a little bit, you could muck yourself up and get yourself sacked again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Spurs. Of course I am. So I've done Spurs, and I think it was the first season I finished 3rd, second season I finished 4th, the 3rd season, which I got sacked in, I was 7th in the league. I got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, and I was still in the UEFA Cup, and they sacked me because I was 7th in the league. And I thought, hey, come on, I'm not doing that bad. But I tweaked my out of possession slightly from the other 2 seasons.
And that's what screwed you. Yeah. I mean, that in a way, it's good because we don't want the game to be really easy.
No, that's not. You've really got to think about your tactics.
Yeah.
Right? You really got to be sure, and it's good, really, because like that's the one that you've got here now. No one will think of that, and it's just you can see on the screen it's working.
Yeah, but that's one of my things about this. I don't want this to work.
No.
Because technically it's kind of game exploiting in a way of, or not game exploiting because it's part of the game, but it's game breaking, I guess, because I mean I should not be 3-0 up against this very good Arsenal team without conceding, I've only got 2 players back. But there we go, that's one of those things.
You might come up against a team that got a different strike force, a different tactic, and they could actually hammer you.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's only because of what's actually the tactic you're playing against on the day, and that's where this game sort of comes in. If you play the game for every single game, you'll set your team up differently every single time.
Yeah.
But the way we play it, we set our team up for a season. Yeah. And we could be you could be getting hammered here and getting sacked.
Yeah, we're seeing one game, like 2 months down the line. I mean, I'm 4-0 up now. 2 months down the line, I might have lost like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And it would just completely ruin the whole thing. So, yeah. One big question. What are your thoughts on the fact that we cannot have hats in the game?
I think it's disgusting, but I've just been down and had my haircut, as you
can see.
Just to sort of this is the top.
I mean, funny enough, we just created your manager profile for this, and I gave you a lovely slick haircut, which looks very similar to the one that you got on your head right now.
I was thinking I'm going to have a nice sleek haircut because I'm not allowed to wear a hat. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
The modern manager nowadays, there's a lot of managers. I mean, I know you picked up quite 3 or 4 managers that wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet. Yeah. We need helmets in the game.
What it is.
Wear a hat.
I mean, we're looking at the England manager wears a helmet. I'm going to say it again.
Stop saying helmets.
We're looking at the England manager wears a hat. Now, why can't we put a hat on a manager?
Yeah.
And that's without going to all the other managers. I mean,
Tony Pulis is the main one. All right, final question then, because we're running out of time. Is the game good?
Yes, I think it is. I think it's going to be more challenging, I feel. So you've got to think about it more, which makes it better, I feel. So I'm looking forward to it. It's not going to be an easy few months getting used to it, I think, but I'm looking forward to it. And bringing the women's football into it as well, it just opens a massive, massive scope now of different things to do.
I mean, I've been playing the women's football for 2 games. There are 3 or 4 players now that I did not know exist that I love.
Yeah.
Tullis Joyce, he got an 8.6 and a 4-0 win for Man United. Tullis Joyce is now the best goalkeeper I've ever seen in women's football. So there we go.
Well,
Easy.
I had
So
a
Dad
little-
thinks the game is good.
I had a little ring around, and Laetitia.
Letitier's great.
Yeah.
Maya Letitia, she is great.
No, I looked up to see if she was any relation to Matt,
To Matt
Laetitia.
Laetitia.
I don't think she is.
No.
But as soon as I thought it, and that because of certain names, there always certain names you pick out and you think, oh, I want to look at it. So I looked her up and all that.
Yeah.
Too, and she's a good player.
Yeah.
So,
But there
yeah.
we go. So Dad thinks the game is good. I think the game is good. There are some things, of course, that we want improvements. There are things that are better in FM26, far better. There are some things that I wish they never changed at all, like that competitions page. I want the old competitions, the way that looks back. But thank you very much for watching. On screen right now is yesterday's video where I did a full season with Arsenal on this alpha build when I really started to learn the game, sign a few players, and seeing if I can win the Premier League. Go watch that video right now.